Now we are recording on the computer as well as the do-jigger, so you're going to get two videos. That way you can't say you didn't get it. Well, I saw it. There it is. Okay, this handout that you see on the board is our academic calendar for this year. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, why is he starting the class with academic calendar? Well, last semester I taught 3 online classes, and I would rather have my teeth pulled without Novocaine than to teach an online class. And the reason is students don't read, they don't pay attention, they expect the teacher to tell them everything to do. And I don't do that. And I just had a mess. So, what I said I would do is I said that I would go through and I would start off with showing a class, and I do this with my college algebra, I do it with my trig, my calculus, I do it with every single class. And we're going to talk about how to schedule your time as far as units. Now, first of all, turn to your syllabi. Now, I'm not going to pull it up. Your syllabi, last page, should be like a spreadsheet form. Last page. Yeah, I got it. I was going to get it right here. No, that's not it. If you're a loser, you're going to fail class. It should look like this. Right here. See it? All right. How many unit tests do you have? 4. All right. Now let's look at your calendar, academic calendar, which is on the board up here. And I'm going to turn to the second page. A lot of you are going to say, why is he even going over this? You'd be surprised. Second page. Come on. Where's the second page? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Second page. I'm doing 2 or 3 different things right now. There we go. 2. All right. The first day of class, we'll write that down. First day of class is 8/18. So you need to get your calendars out. I told you to bring a calendar. Everybody's got a calendar on their cell phone. Get your cell phones out. Get your calendars out. The last day of class for this semester is somewhere down here. I believe it's November 25th. Y'all have to look. Last day of class is equal to 11/25/14. Now, from 8/11 from 8/18 to 11/18, how many months is that? 3 months. So, we have 4 unit tests, and we have 14 weeks. So if you want to work out your calendar tentatively, what does tentatively mean? A roundabout, an estimate. Then take 14 and divide it by what? 4. It's a miracle. But I've got students that can't do that. So, that equals around, approximate, 3.5 weeks per unit. So what I would like everybody to do right now is go through your calendars on your phone, and I want you to count 3.5 weeks from today, and I want you to put TT, Unit 1, tentative test on Unit 1. And then I want you to go 3.5 weeks from there and go TT, Unit 2. And then 3.5 weeks from there, TT, Unit 3. And then 3.5 weeks from there, TT, Unit 4. And I want you to give me those dates. 3.5 weeks means Wednesday. Monday through Monday and then Wednesday. So when you get those dates, give them to me. Is that the first test? All right, first test is September 10th. This is around. I'm going to put around, meaning that that's around. It's not set in stone. What's the next one? 3.5 weeks from September 10th. I'm sorry? So we'll put 10-1, 14. All right, another 3.5 weeks. Say again? October 22nd, 10-22, 14. And then when's the last one? Say again? November 5th, 11-5, 14. And that gives us 20 days. Gives us 20 days to spare. So we're good. All right? Then let's talk about the final. The final exam. It's on this page right here. I'm going to go up a little bit. Well, oh, I'm using the wrong mouse, Hubert. Final exam, session A, December 2nd through the 8th. So you need to put in your calendar, December 2nd through the 8th is exam week. I'm just going to turn my video screen over there right quick so people can write down those dates. Now, how long did that take? 5 minutes? And how difficult was that to do? Not very difficult. But I have students taking online classes that call me and email me and say, when is the first test? Like I'm supposed to look in my crystal ball and I'm supposed to say, on January 3rd at 2 o'clock, I will be finished with Unit 1. I don't know when I'm going to be finished with Unit 1. It depends on how fast the class goes. And every class is different. So, I'm not usually a cynical, sarcastic teacher, but last semester really got me irritated. Okay? So, just wanted to give you those dates. Today is the first day of class. The last day of class is the 25th. Unit 1 test is going to be around September 10th. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Unit 2 test is going to be around the first week. I usually say the first week in October. The third unit test is going to be around the third or fourth week in October. And then the fourth is going to be sometime in November. November, probably the second week, probably. Maybe I'm in the class. I don't know how. Exam week is December 2nd through the 8th. These are all questions that might be on your test. And I'll talk about that in a minute also. Especially that final exam week. All right. Now, that sheet that I gave you on your first email is for you to print out and put in your notebook so you don't ask me, when's finals? When's the last day of class? From here on out, I'll just look at you and go, I don't know. Because you should have put it in your calendar. Okay? And that's, now, should you just do that for this math class, or should you do that for every one of your classes? Every one of your classes. So therefore, you won't be surprised when your 3 or 4 tests fall on what? Same week. You won't be surprised. And that's just something, I've never done this before. This is the first semester I've done this because I didn't think I would have to do it for an adult students, but I have to. That's your first email. That's your first handout. All right, let's talk about your second handout or see what it is. Your syllabus. I want you to pull out your syllabus. Let me find it. Syllabus. I'm having to look. There it is. Syllabus. Now, of course, You don't print out all 4 syllabi. You only print out what? Your syllabi, which is what? MAT155. There you go. I got somebody on the ball. I've had one student this morning print out all 4 syllabi for a 110 class. You figure it out. I don't know why you want to print out somebody else's syllabi. Well, let's try this again. Open. Okay, it must be opening somewhere else. Hold on. Nope. There we go. I don't care about anything except the last page. Last page. There you are. Last page. Mark through 1.2. I don't even cover that. No, this ain't the right class. This is 110. Y'all are 155. I must hit the wrong one. Forget it. Let me pull down 155. There we go. There we go. Forget 1.2 and 1.3. I start with 5.1. Go ahead and make a note of that. Now let me ask y'all a hypothetical question. Let's say that I'm going over 5.1 today, and we spend the whole class period on 5.1, and I tell you at the end of class, y'all need to go home and work on 5.1 material. What do you think I'm going to go over Wednesday? See, there's questions on 5.1 and go to what? That's common sense, isn't it? Miss McClure, I'm not going to be here Wednesday. What are you going to go over? That's what I get. This syllabus, this is the most important page that I've given you. I don't care about the whole syllabus in general. That page right there should be in the front. You got one of these notebooks with a plastic front. I see one right there. It's got pictures in front of it. Okay, the pictures got to go out. I'm just kidding. This page right here needs to go right there. Why? Because that's an important page, especially if you're going to be absent, or you've got to go on vacation next week, or you need to know when the next test is. Well, let's speak about that. I'm going through 5.1 today, which I'm not. That means Wednesday I'm going through 5.2. Y'all get those two okay. Go through 5.3 on Monday. Next Wednesday, 5.6. When I get to 5.6, what should be going through your head? Test is coming up pretty soon. Why? Because the last section is what? 11.1. When I get to 11.1, that's when you need to start saying, okay, I got to get my homework finished and I got to get ready for a test. Use the syllabus as a guide to tell you when the test is. I'm not going to start math until next Monday because I've still got to cover all kinds of stuff about what I do. And the reason I'm not like all your other teachers. I'm very unlike your other teachers. I'm going to spend all this time on logistics of the class, methodology of the class, decorum of the class, and then Wednesday I will cover all of that with my Labs Plus. And that way, come next week, you'll be ready to go and you'll be ready to hit the bricks running. So, this tells you when we have a test right here. This, along with what I cover in class. If I spend 2 or 3 days on integers, then that means we're not going to have the test on when you thought we were. If I spend 2 days on integers and 3 days on rational numbers, then that means this is a day-by-day basis. This is based on one day, one section. Okay? So you're talking 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and what? Is that a whole week? It's half a week. What did we say it was? Oh my gosh! What a concept! You got 2 ways now to figure out when the test is supposed to happen. Now, it's not going to happen like that because I don't have anybody in here I've had before, have I? What's your name? I'm pick on you.
Don Lashley.
What?
Don?
Don?
Don Lashley.
All right, let's say that Don comes in here and he has no clue how to do 5.3. And he asks 15,000 questions. I will answer every one of Don's questions before I will move on to 5.4. Now, the way to do that without doing it in class is to use the Ask My Instructor tab on, y'all want me to follow, I know y'all do, I don't. I got two fears in 19 years. One is my fly being undone, and 2 is falling. And knock on wood, neither one of those has happened in 19 years, okay? All right. There is a button on your homework. Ask My Instructor. And that is what I use to gauge how fast this class goes. If I don't get any questions, what am I going to do? I'm going to move on. If I get a bunch of questions, I will stay on that unit as long as I have to get the point across. Okay? So, squeaky door gets what? Grease, or OIL. And if you don't know that, it's your parents' fault. You need to talk to your parents. Squeaky door gets grease. The person that asks questions gets what? Help. Gets answers. If you sit there like a bump on the log and don't ask any questions, don't come crying to me when you don't know how to do the problems on the test. Okay? All right. Planning, scheduling, when's the test? Well, I told you that when we get toward the end. Now, the scenario goes, okay, class, we're in 11.1 today. Y'all know what that means? That means there's a test. When will the test be? I'll probably post the test in the next couple of days. 2 things about what I do about tests. 1, I do not assign tests without covering material. So if I'm still on 11.1 and it's a Friday or a Wednesday and we've got to finish 11.1 on Monday, I won't assign that test till after Monday because I'm not going to cover it. I don't want anybody coming to me saying that I didn't cover the material. 2, all my homework terminates day before test starts. And usually, mostly, all of my tests and homework terminate at midnight. Midnight, for those that don't know, dark. After the news, after the 11 o'clock news. And I have to say that because some people think it's lunchtime. I get all kinds of people. Most of my homework and most of my tests will always end, and I put 11:59 p.m. Because if I put 12 p.m., some of y'all think that's lunchtime. Okay? So that's why I put 11:59 p.m. So mostly all of my tests and homework will end on at midnight, 11:59 p.m. Now, while I'm at it, go to your handout that talks about things I will be graded on. That is your second most important handout. Things I will be graded on. And of course, I can't find it. Okay, there it is. Here are things you will be graded on. This talks about your test. And it also talks about how to, this is what gets me. I passed this out to the online classes last semester, and they went, when's the first test? It says, here are things you will be graded on for this course. Refer to your syllabus for the exact number of units. We have turned to the syllabus. We have 4 units that we're going to cover. 4 divided into 14 comes out to be 3.6, but 3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks a unit. So therefore, you need to put in your calendars these dates. September 10th, October 1st, October 22nd, and 11/5. Those are tentative dates. They will not fall on those dates, I can tell you. But I can tell you this, within a week and a half of those dates, you'll probably have a test. Okay? Homework. Homework online is started when I start the material. I don't need any of these people. Oh, I can't think of the squirrel on the hedges. What's the squirrel's name? Between the hedges. Happy. Going 50 miles an hour. What's his name? Happy. Hammy. That's the people I can't handle. Okay, I can't handle those people. You'll see Hammy in just a minute. If you don't know who I'm talking about. Isn't he a squirrel? Yeah, Hammy the squirrel. I can't stand when people do that. Yeah, there's Hammy. We have a teacher that turns off all the speakers. That's the students I can't handle. Now, some of y'all are like, what are you talking about? Well, we don't act like that. Yeah, y'all do. When it comes to dates, that's the way y'all act. When's the first day? When's the homework due? When's the homework due? Am I going to fail this class? And you don't need to be doing that. Why? Because I've shown you what you need to worry about. All right? Y'all need to chill. And I mean that in all sincerity. Y'all just, and when I say y'all, I mean students in general, y'all just crazy. Y'all just be acting like the world's against you. And I done lost my dadgum handout. Which one are we on? Things you'd be graded on? Well, what happened to it? There it is. Okay? Homework is started when I started. And the reason I say that and brought Hammy up is just as soon as we get through here, I'm going to get a student to come up here to my desk. Can I go and start on homework? Yeah, whatever. Okay? I know you're wanting to finish all the homework so you can come in here tomorrow and say, I'm finished with all my Unit 1 homework. I don't care. I'm not here to teach students that already know the material. I'm here to teach students that don't know the material. That's what I'm paid for. If you want to do that, stay home, produce a cure for cancer, and go on your way. Okay? Because I don't need that. Because it makes the class what? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Uncomfortable. It makes the class uncomfortable. Nobody wants to ask a question when there's a smart aleck in the back going, oh, listen to the question. Nobody. There's 4 types of people in a classroom. There is the person that does not know the material, that is very insecure. There's the second type person that's seen the material before and is trying to knock the cobwebs loose. There is the third type student that knows the material and keeps their mouth what? Shut. And then there is the loudmouth psychiatrist in psychology class, and mathematician in the math class, and a chemist in the chemistry class, and you all know who I'm talking about. You've all had classes before with them in them. Okay, if you're one of those people that, you know, when you're walking down the hallway and you say, hey, and that person jumps into the restroom, male or female restroom, then you might be that type of person. So, when in doubt, keep your mouth shut. The homework deadlines will be posted when I get toward the what? When I get toward the end of the what? A lot of people say, Hubert, why don't you do it every 2 or 3 days? I'm falling for that. I'm not falling for that because y'all have 5-day funerals, 10 dead grandmothers, 15 flat tires, a 40-hour work day. Notice I said work day. 15 kids, all of them in diapers. What else do y'all come up with? The house fell in. The house got hit by lightning. My computer fell apart. So, instead of setting myself up to open up homework every other day and driving myself crazy, I leave the homework open for the whole unit, and that way people can do it as I go over it, or you can procrastinate and try to do 6 sections of homework in 2 hours. Whatever you want to do. But you are not going to come to me and say I didn't have enough time. All right? Because I've tried that 2 or 3 days. 2.1 you have till Thursday. 2.3 you have till next Wednesday. I only did that one semester and I will never do that again. Okay? I give you an example. For example, and I put this is made up. Why do I put this is made up? I have students. As soon as they read this, they go start studying chapter 8. They don't even look at the syllabus. They go look. So I had to put this is made up. If we are on Unit 1 and it covers 8.1 through 8.8, when we get to 8.7, that is when we are getting ready to end the homework and start the test. You can print out the homework and do it on your own. Conventional, paper and pencil, and then go back and type in the answers. You can do it that way. I'll show you how to do that Wednesday. If you don't see a start date or an end date, you don't need to what? Who worries about dates? What kind of person worries about dates? What? Nope. Believe it or not, a procrastinator. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, the one that does the squirrel thing, what's the homework due? What's the homework due? That person is usually the one that's going to wait until the day before. And I found that out through 19 years of experience. Not to mess up what you said. Yeah, there are responsible people that worry about dates. But that person will come up to me and say, when do you think we'll be through with Unit 1? Versus the one that's jumping around going, we're going to have to test you. When's the Unit 1? When's it due? When's it due? I can tell which one's a procrastinator and which one's not. Online test. Now, this is a test question. Does Hubert give all his tests online? Yes. Does Hubert give the final online? Yes. Does Hubert give all his homework online? Yes. Sorry. Y'all supposed to have a cardio infarction because my phone went off. You know, like y'all's teachers do. Oh my God! Oh! That's what you're supposed to do. Don, you need to cheer up.
You told them how to be turned off. Why even bring them?
No, I don't tell you to turn it off. I tell y'all that mine goes off just like y'all's goes off, and we'll discuss that in a minute. I think I've turned mine off. No, I didn't. I'm trying to turn it down. Okay. All righty. What?
I said, at least you have a good ringtone.
Oh, yeah, you can't go wrong with her skinny. All right. Everything I do is given online. Why do I do that? Well, if I give you 4-unit tests and I grade 4-unit tests and I go over 4-unit tests, that's 8 days that I could be what? Teaching. If I go through and check your homework every 15 minutes or 15 minutes of every class, that's 15 times 2, that's 30 minutes a week. 30 times 14, or 30, let's just say 30 times 15, that's 450 minutes. Divided by 60, or an hour and a half, that's 90, is 5 class periods. 5 plus 8 is what? 13. 13 or 12, whatever. That's 13 class periods that I could be what? Teaching, Hubert. That's right, class. So, why take up that time doing all that paperwork when I could be teaching? And I usually don't try to brag, but in 1996, when I started here, that's when I came up with, why are we doing all this? And I started using Interact, which was little diskettes that students used. And I had 2 computers in the classroom, and that's how they did their homework. And they would go and print it out, and they would go do it, and then they go put the answers in, and I wouldn't have to grade their homework because it was graded on this little disc. And then Interact turned into Course Compass, and then Course Compass turned into MyLab Plus. So I've been working with MyLab Plus and Course Compass since 1996. And it is a great program because all I do is teach. Okay? Now, everything is online. I will give you 2 or 3 chances to take the test. Most of the time I give you 3. What does Course Compass do? Takes the highest. I need everybody to highlight that. So somebody's going to come up to me right before the test and they're going to say, do you average the grades or do you take the highest? And I turn around and walk off and ignore you. If I ever ignore you, it's not because I don't like you. It's not because I'm being rude. It's because I've already what? I've already answered that question. I will give you 7 to 10 days to take the test. Why? Because of the 5 dead grandmothers and the 4 flat tires and the 15-day funerals that y'all have. And the 40-hour work days. You take the test on your time, not class time. If you have a computer that has the old antennas, the old rabbit ears, and you use a modem and it goes, I would not suggest taking your test at home. Okay? If you have a laptop, if you have good internet service, if you have, or you steal your neighbor's internet service and it works real good, take it. But if you have lightning storms at your house, why you don't take the test? Because what is Murphy's Law? Anybody knows Murphy's Law? What can go wrong will go wrong. If it's lightning and hailing outside, I think it's about time for me to take my Unit 1 test. And then the power blows your computer up. And here I get this email about you getting hit by lightning. People, if it's thundering and lightning and a tornado outside, don't take the Unit 1 test. Wait till the next morning. Come up here and take it in the lab. And I would highly suggest that you take it in the lab if you have a chance, because the labs are set up to take tests. Your computer, oh my gosh, you will not believe how many phone calls I get. I can't get on Course Compass. I don't know my password. Where's the test? I mean, and this is after I go over, like Wednesday, I'm going to show you where everything is. This is after I go. It just amazes me. Amazes me how people drive and procreate. Okay, so what's next? Let's see, what else did I talk about? You can take the test on your time, multiple choice and open answer, and you can print out and review the test at any time after you take it. The tests are algorithmically generated. That means it changes the numbers. I scramble them, means it changes the order. And each question, let's say you have 10 questions on a test. Each of those 10 questions has 15 to pull from. So the chances of you getting the same test as her is going to be slim to none, like snowflakes. You're going to have different types, different forms, scrambled, different numbers, and different type questions. So you're not going to get the same test. And that takes care of things you will be graded on except for the percentages, which is another test question that I give you. There's the test right here. Here's the. This is a test question because I ask you, what are the weights of the assignments? Unit 1 through Unit 4, take your average and multiply by 0.6, which is what? What's 0.6? 60%, and it says it down there under there. This right here is what? 20%. So we got 60 and 20. So what is the last 20%? Final exam. 60, 20, and 20. That is a test question. Now, that leads me to my bonuses. I always get students asking me about bonuses at the end of the semester, and I ignore them because I've already covered it. Each test, let's say I give you 20 questions. That's 5 points apiece, right? Well, usually on every test, except for the final, I give you 6 to 7 gimmies. Now, nobody in here has had me before. But one of my gimmies is what is my email address and phone number. And I give you 4 choices, and there's only one choice that has a legitimate phone number and a legitimate email address. Do I have people get it wrong? I have a question that says, what branch of military did I serve in? And I have Boy Scouts. And people put Boy Scouts in there. Some students can break an amble with a banana. If you don't know what amble is, that's your parents' fault. You need to look it up. All right. So 6 or 7 gimmies. What's 6? Let's say 7. 7 times 5. Well, 30 to what? 35 points per test I give you. Multiply that by 4 tests. It's 120 to what? 130 points. That's a test grade. So do not come to me at the end of the semester and ask me for extra what? Don't ask me for extra points, and don't ask me to drop a lowest test grade or anything like that. I don't do anything like that because I give you those 6 or 7 gimmies on every test. One of them is, what is the weights of the assignment? 60, 20, 20. I give you 3 other options. Quack is one. The other one is TV dinner, and the other one is something crazy. The only percentage question is the correct answer. I still have people doing wrong. Okay? Questions on, this is the second most important page. So, I'm going to go pick on Pinky right here. She's got her, so go there. She did exactly what I told her to. She put it right there. This page that I'm covering right now needs to go back here. Those are the 2 most important pages that I've given you. Okay? So mark them. Put a star on top of them. Those are the 2 most important pages because those 2 will answer any one of your questions pertaining to class, scheduling, assignments, anything like that. Caprice? This one right here. The first one is the last page of the syllabus. The grid, the spreadsheet looking. You got it? All right, let's talk about Hubert. Now, a lot of people say, well, you're so conceited, you talk about yourself. Well, that ain't the reason I do this. I do it. Well, I'll just explain it when I get there. One of the reasons, when I first started teaching, I loved to find out about the class. I thought it was fun to find out who went to what high school, where they were from originally. Like some people were born in England, and I just thought that was interesting. So I would have everybody write out an index card and where were you born? Where do you live now? Do you work? Where do you work? What's your hobby? What's your 15 minutes of fame? And I used to do that, and we would jumble up the cards, and we would pass them back out, and we would read them and try to figure out who it was. That's something I used to do before we had email. And then we started getting email for students, and I started getting them to send them in, and that was a total fiasco because I told them they had 1 week to do it, and half of them wouldn't do it. It was a whole lot easier to do it with index cards, but I just never did go back to doing it. So, and I did this because I said it wasn't fair for the students to do that and me not do it. So that's what this started out as. Another thing I started doing was adding all my what? What do you see up here? The top 7 lines. What does all that have to do with? Ways to contact me. And the best way to contact me is right here. And what is that? My cell phone. Now, drunk mails, I can tolerate drunk mails. That's fine. I get drunk mails a lot. Yeah, that's a Pythagorean theorem, Mr. McClure. I got drunk mails at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. So I did get one student tell me they were in jail. Anyway, the whole point is, the best way to contact me is my cell phone. Text, cell, email, all comes to my cell phone. We'll talk about cell phones in just a minute because I got the core issues there. I was born, raised in Anderson, about 3 minutes away. McClure Road and Dobbins Bridge Road, right there at McLeese. McLeese. And when we were born and raised out there, it was called McLeese School. When it was old two-story schoolhouse, it was McLeese because of Henry McLeese. But now it's McLeese. I guess the transplants said McLeese don't sound good enough, so they call it McLeese. But anyway, I call it McLeese. And that's the McLeese community, or the Center Rock community. And I was born and raised out there on a dairy farm. Had dairy cows until I was about 19. That was the Carter years. Anybody in here knows that Carter is the second worst president in history. The farms just... So a lot of the farmers got out in the early 80s. So we switched from a dairy farm to a beef cattle farm and a pig farm. And we got rid of the pigs, but we still got pigs now. But anyway... as a matter of fact, some of y'all that's from Anderson remember when this was a field full of pine trees and dirt hills. Well, I used to ride motorbikes right here. I mean, that shows you how close I am to this place. And I taught at the Pendleton campus for 15 years, and the last 4 years I've been here. So that's my... I used to hate math. I had a teacher that was terrible. Her name was Brenda Bradbury. If you ever heard of her, she's still a witch. If you kin to her, she's still a witch. I don't care. I told her I had enough refreshments at El Railroads one night, and after about the 4th or 5th refreshment, I said, she walked in, I said, "You're Miss Bradbury." And she said, "Yes." I said, "You're the reason I teach today." And she said, "Well, that's good." I said, "Well, I don't think it is." I said, "Because you are absolutely the worst teacher I've ever had in my entire life." And I hate that you're still teaching. So, I teach now because of you. Because you were so terrible. Oh, I hate you feel that way. I said, yeah, well, I do. And probably a lot of other people do too. Good night. Now, how many of you have had a teacher in your past that changed your outlook on math or chemistry? You felt like saying that. This woman would sit in a recliner right beside her overhead projector. And have you ever seen the movie Pale Rider with Clint Eastwood? He had those, I think it was the, hold on. Not a Colt. I'll think of it in a minute. But there was a handgun back in the old days that you could pull the pin, take out the cylinder, put it in your gun belt, take a reloader and put it back in, change it. Oh gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, she would have overhead reels. And I don't know if y'all know what an overhead projector is. Well, she didn't just write on an overhead projector. She didn't overlay pieces of clear paper. She had these reels. She had holsters on the side of that thing. And she would take one off, click, and she'd take another one out, and it made that noise. And that's all she did. She didn't write a single thing down. And then she would say, okay, that's what we do. We do this and do that. Now, you need to do 50 problems of homework. And it was every single night. These were 7th and 8th graders. And first algebra they've had. What did she do? Well, let's take an example. She had, let's say, 25 students a semester. How many classes does a junior high teacher teach? 6? Okay, so that's 6 because they have a free period, right?
Yeah.
So that's 6, that's $1.50. And she taught for 30 plus years. 30 plus years. So multiply 30, that's 4,500 students. Almost 5,000 students, because I know for a fact she taught more than 30 years. Now, let me ask you something. I was a black sheep. My sister was a white sheep. She was the one that studied, one that made A's, one that made, all good grades, summa cum laude. I was, good Lordy, I graduated, okay? She was the white sheep. She made a C in her class. Only C she ever made. Now my point is, how many of those students do you think ended up like me and couldn't do algebra? Probably 2/3. So you take 0.67 and multiply, somebody take a calculator out. What's 4,500? Well, let's do it easy. Let's do 70% of 5,000. Well, what is 10% of 5,000? 500, Hubert. And what's 500 times 7? How many students probably said, the heck with math after that teacher taught them? How many doctors, how many lawyers, how many people that wanted to do things with their life and made D's and F's in math after that one person? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I had to deal with. And I beat my head up against the wall, and if it wasn't for my father, it wasn't for him. He passed away in January. If it wasn't for my father, I would probably be digging a ditch, which is nothing wrong with digging a ditch. I've dug a lot of ditches. But I wouldn't be teaching today because of him, because he kept teaching me and kept teaching me after I would get confused and get confused. So I didn't learn math because I was a challenged, what do you call it? I was exceptionally whatever. I got it the hard way, beating your head up against the wall. And I got it. And got a son and a daughter. I was deployed in the war, came back, got all that good stuff. I love Andy Griffith Show. All right? Love all kinds of stuff. I love everything. I'm very happy-go-lucky. All right? So that's a little bit about me. If you need to get in touch with me, there's that. If you want to go to Facebook, you can go to Facebook. Got my Facebook pulled up right here. You can go to it. And I got plenty of pages. I got my mathematics page, which has videos on it. I have my academic advising page, which you can ask me questions about degrees, advising, anything like that. If you want to go to YouTube, pull up the one with the maroon shirt, and I will have you a class pulled up under playlist. This is last year's 155, and that is videos that we go over. I will post this one today. And you will have videos of every single class that we go through, so you can go back over stuff when you don't get stuff on in the class. Okay? There is no way to fail my class unless you're just lazy. There you go. No way. All right, let's go to decorum. Let's go to talking about dang old how to act in class. I have one rule, and it's kind of like the golden rule. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
Silence is golden?
Huh?
Is it silence is golden?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. It is, I treat students what? That's it. I treat you with respect, you treat me with respect. See? Y'all, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. My phone went off 2 or 3 times. I have a phone. What is it if I have a phone and I tell you not to have a phone? What is that called? The hypocrite. Most of your teachers are hypocrites. They have a phone and it goes off in class just like yours does, but it's okay for theirs. I'm not like that. If I have, there's 3 people that I will answer the phone. One is West Side High School, because that's where my daughter goes. 2 is Macleese, which my son goes. And then my mama. You ever seen Granny Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies? That's my mother, only she has black hair. All right? That's where I get mine from. And yes, I do not color my hair, because if I colored my hair, I would color my beard and my mustache too. Okay? My mother's hair is the same. She's black, 75 years old, hair's black. I'm sorry. But if, and I give her a schedule of my classes. Does she read it? Yeah. Does she care when she calls me? No. So if she calls, I have to answer. So, and I will answer. I will say, excuse me, I have to answer this, and I'll go out in the hallway. So what if the daycare calls, or if your mother calls, or if your siblings call, or if your dad calls, or if your work calls, what do? You go outside and say, you don't even have to say excuse me. If I see you looking at your phone and you get up, then I see you're good. You need to text somebody. If you forgot to turn something off at home and you need to text somebody, get up, go out in the hallway. That's just like the highway out there. Tri-County Tech, you can go out plumb naked and stand in the middle of that highway out there. Tri-County Tech can't do anything. But once you come on to Tri-County Tech's property, we can prosecute you. That hallway, you can go out there and you can talk on the phone. I've had students go out there and have fights with their boyfriend or girlfriend on the phone. And everybody just sit and listen. Okay? But once you walk at the threshold of this classroom, you're in my world. You're in my universe. And I expect for you to treat me like I treat you. Okay? And that's that. And that's pretty much texting and cell phone. Remember this. If you was to come up to me after class and ask, say Don, would come up to me and ask me a question and say, Hubert, this is a 3-part question. I did this, and right when he said that, I started texting. What would that be? Rude. As Bonquiqui said. Rude. Then what's the difference in me texting while he's asking a question and me writing on the board and him texting? What's the difference? Nothing. There is no difference. Okay? I'm thinking. That's all about texting and cell phones. This is not an online class. I've already talked about it. This is a class where I do nothing but teach. T-E-A-C-H. teach. I don't do any homework, any paperwork. I hate paperwork. I loathe paperwork. Attendance policy. Financial aid has flexed their muscles and basically put an attendance policy in effect at Tri-County Tech. As long as you stick your head in here once a week, there won't be any problems. If you miss like 15 days or 14 days, that's 2 weeks, that's 7 days, 2 weeks, that's 4 meetings, 14 days, I will be asked to drop you. I do not like to drop people because when I drop people, they show up the next day wanting reinstated. Please show up once a week. Come through here, put a note here. Hey Hubert, I'm here until I know your names. You need to leave me a note or a name. I'm good with that. If you have to go pick up your daughter or take them to doctor at 10 o'clock, or what time do we meet? At 2 o'clock, then stick your head in, leave early. I don't care if you leave early. I don't. Just make sure that I call the roll. I'll call the roll and do it on the computer. Anytime you're not here, you will get an email from a generic email, not from me. It'll say, you have missed class. It is important for you to attend class. Okay, I do not write that. The only email you're going to get from me is a class-wide email that says, okay, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do this. I'm not going to write you and say, you need to be in class more often. I'm not going to do that. All right? After 2 or 3 absences, you're going to get an email, a nasty email that says, if you do not go back to class, you will be dropped. Please show up once a week, at least once a week, and we won't have any problems. Okay? That's that. Nobody's had me. Anybody heard anything about me? Okay. Well, if you don't, you can go to Facebook. You can go to Rate My Professor. I just won't look at it because I'm scared to look at it. Rate My Professor is right here. We can look up somebody else though if you want to. Rate My Professor, and somebody who wants to find out about an instructor, but me. I don't want to look at it. I don't like to record myself, video myself, or see comments about myself. Anybody? Hoover. Okay, we'll do Hoover and then Davis.
I wish I could remember the name of my math teacher that I actually didn't know. I told my boy, not you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I told my boyfriend this morning, I said, just so we're clear, I said, if I have the math teacher that I had last time, I'm just going to walk right by that.
Hoover's not on here. You're going to have to add them. They must be new. What do they teach? Yeah, there must be new. Is it Hoover? Hoover? Must be new. You'll have to add them after the end of the semester. Huh? Oh, duh. Thank you. Hoover, Deborah. She's got 5. That's not good. But they're not too bad. The highest score is a 5. Awesome teacher, great instructor. I hated the computer-based training program. Miss Hoover is an awesome teacher. Sounds like you're okay.
Sounds like it.
All right, what was the other one? Davis? Who?
Celeste Davis.
Davis. What do they teach?
English online.
Davis. Celeste Davis. Ooh, she got 29. Let's see what hers say. She got, the more ratings, the better. Super harsh grader. I took the class online and went to tutoring center for my papers. Other English professors looked over them and said I deserved an A, but every paper I submitted got an 80 to 84. Okay. Do not take online. Think I'd switch. Very helpful, very helpful. Nice lady, but I really tried hard, extremely hard. Doesn't provide much understanding. Wonderful professor, loved her. She's got a lot of smiley faces and halfway smiley faces. Worst teacher ever. She is rude. Scare day. Okay. Drop day is 1 to 3 days after first day of class, so you can still drop. I think I'd drop. Now, Art Scheck here is good. He is good. He's got a very cynical, sarcastic personality, but he's a good teacher. I've not had him. I've never had a student tell me anything bad about him. All right, one more. Let's make fun of one more. Anybody? Okay, y'all know fun.
You Christopher Farland. You
Huh?
Christopher Farland.
McFarland?
Dr. Christopher Farland, yeah.
McFarland. Is that MC?
MCFARLIN.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, Loud.
I do Robert Newton.
Loud. McFarland. He's only got 4. Outstanding. Favorite. Great. Very interesting. But look, that was 2012 and 2014. He ain't got very many ratings. Let's look at, what'd you say, Newton? Loud, loud, and very loud. He makes me look quiet. A preacher. I like Robert. He's got 8. Enjoy the class. Fun teacher. Fair, helpful, and caring. Awesome. Very funny. Very nice guy. He's got good ratings for the 5 that he's got. 5 or 6, whatever. So that's a little way that you can go through and look at your teachers. Okay? Just don't tell me what mine says, because I won't listen. I don't want to listen. No.
You got an 8. Yeah, yours are really good.
Okay.
Yours is the only one I looked at.
Oh, okay.
I don't know my other teachers. I don't know if I'm scared or not yet.
You might want to save you heartache.
I mean, she seems really nice, but...
Who?
Stacy Frank.
Oh, she's cool.
Is she?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's cool. She's gonna come off as a hard ass at first because she don't put up with no junk. But she's a cool teacher. All right. Let's see. What else did we do? Let's see. We were at what last? Oh, hold on. Here we are. Generalize when I speak. I do not sit home and say, "Oh, that girl that sits on the last row, she got on a coral shirt. I don't like her." I don't do that, okay? I don't do that. Now, if I say, y'all are stupid, all right? I'm talking about students in general. I'm not talking about 155, all right? I do that sometimes. I get irritated with students because sometimes some of them can do some really stupid stuff. Like, you know, okay, class, turn to page 256. 5 seconds later, a student goes, what page? Okay, that is irritating. All right? That kind of stuff. And when somebody does that before y'all's class, I get kind of irritated. If you want to ask anybody about my class, they will tell you that I'm laid back, I'm fun, comfortable, fair. If anybody calls me a jerk, it's probably because they were lazy, because I give you all kinds of chances to ace my class. All kinds. I just don't put up with any 5-day funerals, 25 dead grandmothers. You know, I don't put up with that. Okay? All right. Let's get on to the last. Here's my locator card. Locator card is a graphic representation of my office hours, if I can find it. Well, I thought I had it pulled up. Let me pull up another one. I think I've lost my email. I'll probably have to log back in. Yep. And then I need to call the roll because I know it's getting close. What time's class over? 2:15? Okay. Let's see. Email. And sent. Email handouts. There it is. I went ahead and sent y'all a locator card in case y'all didn't understand my schedule. And there it is. I don't know why it's pulling up like this. Let me try this. There, that's better. And there it is. If you'll notice, my office hours are mostly on Friday because on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm ready for El Herrero's. Y'all don't know where El Herrero's is? right down here, about 1.5 miles, free refreshments. Okay? They got good refreshments. And by the time I teach from 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock, I'm ready for some refreshments. I do have office hours at 8, probably 8:30, but you're welcome to come by my office. My office is in 211. When you get off the elevator, turn directly left, and you'll go into a doorway, go all the way to the corner, and I'm in the corner. Just follow my voice, because I'm usually talking and usually don't come up to my door and do this. That irritates me. Knock on the door, okay? I just ignore it. Knock on it. Usually it's open. If it's open, it means come on in. Usually there's 3 or 4 students in there complaining or talking about something. So, questions so far on I'll talk about course compass in just a minute, or just a second quickly, because I've got to talk to you about tests. But as far as the classroom, is there any questions there? Has anybody heard anything about my classroom? Nobody? I don't believe that. All right, books. That's your second biggest question. What about my books? Somebody told me that you didn't have to. I don't care what you bring in here. Everybody that uses Course Compass, there's an online book. So do you actually need a book? No, because you have it online. You can print it by section, 6 to 8 pages at a time. So you can just bring what you need. I will show you that Wednesday. You can buy the access code to get on without the book. It's $105. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's a ripoff. Not when you see what you get. And I'm going to show you that Wednesday. The book with the access code is $135. You can bring a book, beg, borrow, steal, whatever. You can share a book. You can borrow a book. You can use an old book. You can use a textbook from last semester. You can borrow somebody's book. I think I said that. You can buy a new book. You can use the ebook online. I don't care what kind of book you use. I may have some extra books. If you want to come by my office after the class, I may have some. I think I do have some. First come, first serve, if I like you. Okay? Now, what we are going to do Wednesday is we are going to go through and talk about My Labs Plus. Sometimes I call it Course Compass. It's the same thing. I'm going to tell you how to use it. I'm going to tell you the good things about it. I'm going to tell you how to look at a test and how to do the grade book and all that. Now, what you need to do today, between now and Wednesday, get your supplies together. Oh, scientific calculator. Go to, for your phone, save you some money, Wabbit, as in Wascally Wabbit, Emu. And you can download any calculator you want. And it's free. Now for the Apple users, y'all have to pay, since y'all are so up there. Yeah, y'all have to pay. It's a whole lot better than $75 for a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator. Pick out whichever you want. I would suggest the TI-83 or the TI-83 Plus or the TI-84 Plus. One of those 3, Silver Edition or something like that. Find you a book, whether you beg, borrow, steal, borrow, share, or the ebook, whichever one you want. Get your access, get into My Labs Plus. Get on to that. Don't do anything, just get in there and look around. Supplies. Chapter 6 is when you're going to need graphing materials. All I want you to have is notebook and highlighters. Have at least a couple of highlighters, because when I go over something important, I want you to highlight it. Okay? Now I'm going to take the roll, so that way all the bureaucrats will be happy. And I will download this today on YouTube, and it will be called